Welcome everyone to DW Randomizer and to the semifinals of the 2022 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. Today we kick things off with a real heavyweight match, the first of a best of three between the defending champion Thilotilo and the 2020 champion dk9146. So glad you could all be here with us today. Archfield Monk, our restreamer, is MathGirl718. Beta Strep's doing our tracking today. And with me on the call for this one is the Seawolf 1.
Hey everybody. We have two prior champions going head-to-head for the first time this tournament. It's been pretty pretty open competition. Now towards the end of the race here, we're having the better players show up at the end. And it's like an all-star game that actually matters. We have a champion from last year and a champion from, I believe, earlier this year.
Yeah, and both players have had a great run through this tournament. Thilotilo, you see the records there on screen, is 10-1. DK 10-0, has not suffered a loss the entire tournament. Both of these racers won their group in the group stage. Thilotilo coming out on top of the Red Slime group. DK sweeping through the Magician group. And Thilotilo defeated Vertical Sandwich and EMP any amount of money to get to this point in the bracket stage. DK taking out Jay Coper and Aaron 2U2. They neither have suffered a loss in the bracket stage either. So this is a couple of really good runs both racers have put together in this tournament so far. And we're going to kick this off in just a few minutes.
Please know that these racers have had a lot of races. They've been hard-fought races. DK's race against Aaron and Aaron last week, basically. Were all nail-biters. They were all real close to the finish. So it's not like they're winning like cakewalks. They're battles. They're coming out on top.
Yeah, exactly. It's been very hard fought for them to maintain their records where they have been throughout the course of this tournament. Particularly the last couple of series. As you said, the matches, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch them, they're here on the channel. You can go back and check out those VODs, but a couple of really close races in both of the previous matchups for each of these racers that we're going to see today.
Yeah, spoilers, they won those races because they're here. But if you ignore that little detail, they're very exciting to watch.
Spoiler alert, right? But yeah, that's those were some great races, so worth checking out if you haven't seen them already.
We have Permatorch on, so bonking has been taken off the menu.
We do have our excellent tracker here, courtesy largely through the work of Captain Uhu, who I always like to shout out when we're talking about the tracker because he does such amazing stuff with this. But one of the great features of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer tracker is that we get to load our ROM in and see what our stats are at each step of the way as well as their spells. And you see our start here today is kind of subpar. These are not great stats.
Yeah, there's a prior roll before we realized, oh wait, no torch, or permatorch. So we had the prior stat had return, had magic, had good strength and agility, and it was going to be a throne room run and a treasury rush. The real roll had no magic, no strength, and a little more hit points, which would be required to wrestle down whatever ghost or Drakey you get your hands on in the first few minutes.
Yeah, they're going to have to engage in some slugfests in the early going here. 6 attack power. Not amazing. So they traded their better stats in, although they didn't know it, for a torch instead, which that could come out on top if we have some early caves. That'll definitely help. Of course, both of these racers are perfectly capable of navigating in the dark, but decided to go with the permanent torch today.
Yes, I will trade you your magical power and a free key for a torch glued to your hand. And they said, yeah, reasonable. I'll take it. Again, this is all assuming there's nothing in the throne room. Could be a sword in the throne room, could be gold in a nearby town. It's gonna being a shopping fest. But we'll see. If the last 5 races I've watched have been any insulation or any consolation, it'll be Hawk's Nest for us, so who cares?
It does seem to pop up a lot. First town Hawksness. But as you said, there are 3 chests in the throne room. When our racers start, there will be one that has a magic key back behind the throne. And there will be 2 others in which any other item in the game can be randomized. Some of the things you might look for there might be a pair of wings, which you can use to exit the castle. That would be basically the same as if they'd kept that return spell from the previous seed. And we're going to find out in just a moment here as we get underway. Thilotilo on the left of your screen, using his usual red slime sprite. DK on the right, using the Dragon Warrior 1 hero. And in our first chest, we have an herb and wings. So there we go. There's our return replacement.
Your free key has shown up. Excellent.
So our racers can use this wings. They will exit Tanagel Castle and be able to re-enter. They can, since the strength is low, you might expect them to see, them save here and then check the treasury to see if there's anything going on. Tilo takes a couple of steps in each direction, though. And sometimes you'll see this too. I think this is also a good play. If you think you want to check out this zone first, you can. And if you take a death, you're just going to be back in the throne room to save your key anyway if you want to do a treasury check. So, and we see the desert tiles to the north there. Actually, the north-south zone is very close because we've got a metal scorpion, which is not a zone 0 enemy. Very close to Tanagel Castle to the north. But here goes DK in this treasury check. Erdrick's token. Some gold. Cursed belt in the middle chest. And then the guard is...
No, this is mine.
Yeah. Doing his job for a change. There's a torch.
Besides, nah. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. That's interesting. There's a torch there in the treasury. It depends on how ugly the opening zone is.
Yeah,
DK didn't think about that, but...
Yeah, DK didn't walk around to find town yet. This is when you go north and find zone 2 or zone 3 up here, which is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
The castles are right on the edge of zone 0, I guess, because you're getting 4 steps away, getting right into some enemies that are nasty.
Exactly. What that does tell us, though, is that these desert tiles to the south here are all in zone 0. And we do have a ghost for our first enemy, which is really, really bad.
I joked before about ghost wrestling. That's really a thing. When you have 6-7 strength, ghosts are hard to hit.
Yeah, there's actually a little quirk of the damage formula that on 6 strength, you're actually only going to hit... Normally, if you have less strength than you need to do guaranteed damage to an enemy, you do 50% you're going to hit it, 50% you won't. But with 6 attack power, the ghost defense is such that you'll actually only hit the ghost 33% of the time. So that's not a great enemy to see here, and we've seen a lot of ghosts pop up so far.
You have a town. Hey, wait, we have Remildar. Which means if I get gold on my treasury, I can buy lots of keys.
This is true, so saving the key is not necessarily critical anymore. You've got that gold chest in there. You could maybe cycle that torch out of the treasury and make some headway that way, but it looks like Tilo's found a red slime here. So we know we have at least that at our disposal to try to make some gains. And I think this looks like exactly what DK is going to do here. He's going to go ahead and burn the key in the treasury to get that gold. He knows he has keys immediately accessible to the southeast, so losing this key is not a big deal. And in return, he can get this torch, which can be used as a battle item for 6 to 9 damage. And he can take out a ghost basically immediately with that if he needs to.
Yeah, unfortunately, you think, why did I take the last chest for the cursed belt for money? Remildar can't sell things. There's no item shop. So yeah, what you got is what you got. And no weapon, so yeah, you can get armor. And that chest down there may have something nice and fun for you. But no weapon for sale that's in reach. Remildar. Edge keys, you unlock any door. They unlock ghosts? Well, no, they unlock doors.
No, they indirectly. If you unlock the door for the treasury, you get a torch, and then you can unlock a ghost. Or, torch it, I suppose.
DK will check the bottom room of our chest. Usually wastes 2 keys, sometimes a real game changer.
Yeah, you never know what you might find here. A fairy water even would be great. Could grab some more gold, as DK just did.
Yeah, the world's little gold grind here. You can buy 2 keys, cash in 2 keys, and get extra gold.
Meantime, Thilo picking up level 2, 8 power, 1 speed, 0 hit points, 5 magic points. So that solves the immediate problem we have here now on 14. Attack power. Thilo able to take on these ghosts that inhabit Zone 0.
So it's the power boost, and DK gets some chainmail, so now ghosts will bounce off them a little more reliably. Why, hello, little Drakey. What are you doing out here? Actually, now grinding here, so we're a little south of the castle. Getting some fights here, some slime, some nice stuff in Zone 0. DK find a lucky Drake in the middle of the woods here.
Yeah, this is way far out. Almost certainly not a starting zone as far as DK has walked at this point, but did manage to find that Drakey. We'll get on the board.
Yeah, I'm tempted with Brian Williams has my thought where it's like I'll go back for one more round of tress hunting and get the half plate and be really suited up for the adventure. I don't know if I'd go with Beta Strap's plan to buy a flame sword, but I mean it's really viable.
You could do it. There's no reason you couldn't do it. It just might take a little while. And of course, our runners are trying to finish as quickly as possible. It's maybe not the best plan.
Meanwhile, DK finds a poltergeist in a swamp, which is worse than worst. Deals you level 3. That mission be a little too much to handle right now. Back to the zone here. So south of the castle, you have the desert tiles. They're basically Zone 0, Zone 1. So they're pretty fair fights for Thilo's level. DK also is down, and goes to heal more. Getting better and better.
DK, I think, has not used his torch yet.
He's afraid to use torch on Scorpion. Scorpion may survive a torch throw, and then you're trying to flick it down with your fists, which is dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't want that one for the torch in all likelihood. Torch is doing 6 to 9. Scorpions have roll between 10 and 13 hit points whenever you get them in an encounter, so obviously you couldn't be well short of what you need to do that, and don't really have enough to chip, but he is going to use one of those keys that he picked up in Rim to grab another torch here, and see if he can find another one of those scorpions, I guess is what he's hunting. He's skipping magicians as Thilo gets 4, 6, 4, 2, 4. All evens.
Thilo approaching, functional stats. I wouldn't be charging the Charlock with these bad boys, but Zone 0 shouldn't be a problem right now.
Yeah, this is perfectly fine. You're doing solid damage against everything that he's seen here in Zone 0 so far. Can take out scorpions, as he does there.
Scorpion tried for the gusto with the hurt spell and didn't quite make it. And Thilo finds Rodar and dies instantly.
Yeah, he was getting his resources back, and the town appeared just on the edge of the screen as he walked into that first tile of swamp, so chances are decent he'll check that out right away.
Ah, good thing you have that gold in your pocket. It'd be a shame if you drop half of it. Alright, level 2 now for DK. DK with the bonus of armor. Thilo maybe didn't see the town. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's possible he didn't.
Alrighty. DK... I think DK knows to heal more, so DK knows that you can't just, if you flick a ghost down, it might come back and get a full health, which right now is still kind of scary for him. Level 3 now, though, so we're getting a little more in the ballpark of proper combat.
Yeah, things progressing apace for DK now. Was able to use that torch that will get his last ghost before he has to take a death.
The ghost is hurt, too.
Yeah, a lot of things have hurt in this opening zone.
Yeah, the ghost I didn't see hurt for 10 fights of ghosts. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Very back pocket. Thilo, though, gets that scorpion. We'll take it down for level 5. 8 power, no agility, no hit points, 8 magic points. A bookend level. Inside which there are no books.
So would you go back to where now? Thilo's going to have some gold to buy another key. So we need to buy the key back here to check back the backside and see what's around. DK also buying keys here.
Yes, probably a key purchase of convenience. It looks like he's headed toward the basement for this check. There's one randomized location back here down this staircase.
Tilo's going to get more gold here, buy more keys, and do the Ribbledar back check more or less. But DK finds Swamp South. Regular droll. What else is down here? Nothing, apparently.
Nothing. Oh, but
Ooh.
secret passage found in the basement of Tanagel Castle, taking you straight to Garenham. So 3 chests available here. We'll get another pair of wings, so that's exhausts our wing supply for the seed. A fairy water. Not bad to see right now, actually.
And yet more gold.
And yet more gold. So we've also got the Garenham shop we can take a look at. Out here in the middle of the desert, got a cave right outside too, but DK is going to take a look first. He's got some walking around money. Can afford a hand axe here if he wants, if there's one available. But
Nope.
again,
One
weapons
club.
in short supply in the seed. Yeah, just
Buy the club.
I like a club purchase there. I think I would have bought that club.
Garenham can decide if we want to cave in the town or out of the town. Why not both? T lost the fighting Swamp South.
Did not get a droll though, got a specter on his way through, and on 16 agility, it's still kind of crummy for running away from mid-game enemies. It's decent chances, but gonna get run blocked twice here and sent back. So we'll see if he tries to force his way through Swamp Cave. Is DK checking out this cave? It is Mountain Cave. So
Mountain
5
Cave.
chests potentially available here, and this is the same zone as we saw in Swamp Cave, so we see a specter here as well.
One herb in our back pocket. DK didn't buy any herbs in Garenham. Tilo finds Ribbledar. Probably face palms a bit, but we'll be happy to see only gold and no weapons.
Yes, he'll see this. Might be a little bit concerning as far into the seed as we are now, but as you said, there's not really a whole lot here that will help him at the moment. Silver Harp get for DK, just off the staircase, and we've got a Rogue Scorpion. This is very bad news. Even if he survives a swing, it's very tough to run from Rogue Scorpions at very high agility, and DK's got 12, which is less high.
It's actually kind of clever in this game. The Scorpion family, basically, in this game has high defense, especially high agility. So it's, they have low HP usually, they're pretty squishy. But you have to crack through the armor with the magic or the big hit. And a side effect of that in this game's programming is that they are very fast and hard to dodge. Tilo Gold Run. DK Gold Run.
Yep,
DK's
here we go.
grind.
So
Yeah, DK's grind's a little more efficient, but Tilo buying half plate.
yeah, there's a couple of different possibilities here. Even if you wanted to, since this connects to Garenham, you could collect the 3 chests in the back of Garenham, then die in Swamp Cave and trigger a gold grind that way. But with Mountain Cave right outside, DK was able to grab 2 chests before he perished, and so with the return to the throne room, that triggers 3 more, and then picking up the 3 that he did in the treasury means that any chest he picks up after that is glitched, because the game can't handle more than 8 chests. It was not a provision in the vanilla game. So you can continue taking this chest, or any chest thereafter that is in the same location, infinitely. Hence Gold Grind.
And as Chad's mentioning, DK's free walk through the Swamp Cave versus Tilo's Spectre encounter. DK is going to have probably Silver Shield, Flame Sword, and Half Plate by the time this is said and done. And Tilo has Half Plate and a token.
Yeah, so this could be a pretty big point of divergence in the seed. There's, of course, no way of knowing for Tilo. There's still all of the locations outstanding, so the odds that Swamp Cave connects to Garenham are actually kind of slim. Still, there could be any number of caves in the back of Garenham, but in this case, might burn him a little bit. That said, he is making pretty good progress. It's not like the stats are poor right here. He's got 33 attack power and is able to take on some of these monsters in other zones, and is now only about 25 experience points away from the next level.
Yeah, and chat stole my thunder. I was waiting my turn to talk. But yeah, I was saying, this all kind of moot and funny if Tilo at level 5 versus level 3 for DK. If a Hurtmore shows up to the party early, this may all be moot.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of levels versus the gold grind here. DK into Rim. We'll get a hold of that Flame Sword, 28 attack power. And the Silver Shield, good for 20 defense.
Oh, I'm just short of the half plate, but
And he is, yeah. If he wanted to dig that gold chest again in Rim, he could get it. But maybe he thinks it's only a +6 chainmail over the half plate over the chainmail, so not a huge deal right now. And honestly, you have repel, so suppressing your defense to a certain point can sometimes be useful if you happen to get a big strength gain or hurt more. Then mega defense sometimes can work against you. Tilo picking up level 6 here.
Oh, almost. I saw the HUR, I was like, here we go! And nothing. Just plain old hurt.
Yeah, we got half the spell that we thought might make things really, really interesting here. But as it is now, DK, breaking a lot of stuff, is able to take out Metal Scorpions quite easily, so has found a zone that he has deemed very favorable, and it looks like it certainly is. Can take out some Metal Scorpions here, and will very quickly be at level 5.
Yeah, so being able to do a dedicated grind here is going to catch up to those boosts really fast. Again, don't panic. These races are 10-1, 10-0. Former champions. They're not out of it by a long shot. We're 15 minutes-ish into the race, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, exactly. There's no panic in either of these two right now, I think. Certainly DK probably feels like things have worked out pretty well for him to this point, and Tilo probably doesn't have much in the way of complaint either. Does have the hurt spell here now, so that's going to do, you know, about as good work as a Flame Sword would have done on level 4 or so. So can still continue to grind efficiently.
Tilo's probably unaware of the boost there. The DK knows of Garanham Mountain Cave, so ignorance is bliss. They'll steal it soon enough, I imagine. Much strong to get that swamp cave to go to the back, but yeah, barring a real grind, DK gets hurt more really fast and bypasses that and finds more homework. I can't see why that'd be a problem here. Tilo is not out of it by a long shot.
Yeah, remember...
And hurt is comparable to the Flame Sword at this low strength right now, so it didn't seem out of damage, effectively. So, not a huge deal.
Yeah. Oh, and look at this. There's a town just off screen to the north. I'm surprised that both runners left locations that were so close this late into the seed, but that's just Breckenary, so probably not a huge deal.
Yeah, DK doing the right choice, just walking out of town. Probably paying for his hubris, but Armor Knight doesn't care about your feelings.
Armor Knight does not care about your feelings, and that was pretty close to start too. We know that the north zone, the one that Tilo is grinding in right now that has some slightly stronger starting monsters, was very close to Tanager, which means the zones that can have basically anything are also very close to that zone, so DK is going to opt to sit down and grind here as well. Tilo currently has about 100 experience point lead, but that can disappear very quickly with DK's Flame Sword doing one-shot damage to anything that he's going to see right here. Just about anything. The Warlocks, maybe a little bit less often, but everything else goes down quite fast.
Your Warlocks probably most work, but they also pay off the best. 50 gold, 20 experience points.
Yeah, with his defense where it is, he's breaking anything that we've seen in this zone. The only Zone 012 enemy that DK wouldn't be breaking right now is a wolf, and we haven't seen one of those yet, so not a huge concern. Tilo just needs one more decent encounter, Drakima counts, to get level 7.
We were probably right behind. Actually, no, DK is about 100 points behind still. Now 70 with that Metal being killed. But Desert being here is nice. Desert has the highest counter rate of the tiles in the overworld. So if you find a desert spot versus a grass spot, you'll get more fights faster.
1 power, no agility again, 4 hit points, 9 magic points, and there is the Hurtmore. So we got hurt before Hurtmore today. Flag wasn't on, but it happened anyhow. And Tilo's going to burn off the rest of his MP, take out a Metal Scorpion, and probably look to Death Warp to get his resources back.
Right.
Meanwhile, DK is hot on his heels, and Tilo now sees Breckenary, so maybe he'll top off here instead of taking that Death Warp.
Yeah, DK is going to see Hurtmore level 7 and probably think, oh no. As Tilo sees level 7 says, oh yes. And, that's probably
yes,
saving
exactly.
about 2 minutes gold grinding.
Yeah. So this is pretty interesting that we have this level 7 Hurtmore here. We'll probably trigger a little bit of a change in our runner's behavior. We do have 32 magic points. That's good for 6 casts. Hurtmore's 5 MP per cast. Can take out a lot of enemies in one shot.
Yeah, Thilo before was being scrappy and hurt and dodging and fighting the Warlock, fight hurt to avoid the heal spell. Now it's going to be walk around, laser crab, and just silence Warlock, just blow it up. You want to find something bigger. You want to find green dragons. You want to find knights. You want to find magic weapons. You want to find something juicy.
Yeah, some mid-game enemies here are probably preferable. The agility is still very poor, 17 on level 7, which means you have a high chance to get back attacked by a lot of the late-game stuff that can be one-shot with Hurtmore. So with 37 hit points, DK is in a little bit better position in that regard because he's got slightly higher defense. But certainly you want to try to find some things to try to scaffold your way up a couple levels first before you find anything real serious like that Armor Knight that we saw earlier.
DK something to buy herbs. Everyone hates going to the Breckenarian shopping. It's a long walk. It's almost as bad as coal. But it's good to have in your back pocket. And DK, she's an Armor Knight and doesn't have the MP. He had the MP, didn't catch Hurtmore.
Had the MP. He got back attacked, so he was already underwater there. The only chance was to run, but of course those chances on 17 agility quite slim. He did see a cave off to the northeast, and Thilo finding out Druids have Hurtmore. So I guess maybe some enemies learned Hurtmore at the same time our runners did.
The Druids are also level 7, and the Hat Monster is learning a few tricks.
Thilo headed toward the back door, so maybe deciding Swamp Cave. One play you could possibly make here if you were feeling
spicy.
You could check out that Swamp Spike and see if there's something Hurtmoreable there. On this agility again, chances are real good that you're going to get back attacked by anything hiding out there, but this early in the seed when you have Hurtmore, sometimes the information is worthwhile. And we do have
Demon Knight, which got away from. Lucky.
Yes, didn't see any of those on our first trip through Swamp Cave or Mountain Cave. But this DK is going to take out DK. And Thilo is going to get away from this troll and find on the spike a not Hurtmoreable thing. But a golem with stop spell. You really like to see that. Because golems can be very good grinds. They're worth 350 experience now in version 3. And if you get some good attack power and maybe you get Erdrick's armor, or you just get the stop spell yourself and those golems happen to spam stop spell, then that can be a very worthwhile grind.
Or maybe the flute.
Oh, dare we say the flute.
Doom flutes as he pleases.
Spoken of only in whispers. The fairy flute.
I mean, DK won the last round because of the fairy flute.
Because of the fairy flute, which is pretty hilarious itself, because if you're familiar with DK at all, he's got an emote in his channel that is basically the fairy flute with a no symbol over it, no flute. So no flute is a bit of a DK meme, but it ended up playing a part in actually a couple of his races here in the bracket stage.
Thilo again heading down Swamp Cave. Now we know that the spike tile's off limits for now. We'll see that later, I imagine. Unless Axe Knights are hanging out in Hawk's Nest somewhere.
Yeah, still have a little ways to go to that point. But with the Hurtmore spell, the levels should start to come pretty quickly as long as the overworld zones aren't absolutely dismal. DK is going to try to get back through Mountain Cave. Remember, he left 3 chests down here on the 2nd floor. Did pull the harp out of that first chest.
And now has Hurtmore for that Rogue Scorpion, so that's a sit and duck for that spell.
Exactly. Thilo finding Garenham for the first time on the other side of Swamp Cave. And so one wonders what would be going through his mind right now, having made this find just now.
Less the Garenham. Garenham's doing fine too, but when you walk outside and see Mountain Cave right there, now you wonder.
Yes, exactly.
As you walk around half plate in the dragon scale and barehanded, what am I missing?
And it looks like Thilo preserved the gold grind here, so he used his key to walk out into town, and he's going to go back into Swamp Cave, perhaps to take a death. DK finding in the top 2 chests of bottom floor Mountain Cave a Cursed Belt and the Fighter's Ring. The Fighter's Ring, good for +2 attack power, so he'll slap that on a finger right away.
Also good news, we found 2 Cursed Belts now, so we know that between Cole, Overworld, and Hawk's Nest, at least 2 of those spots have an item on the ground.
Exactly. Those Cursed Belts, when they're shuffled into the chests, they indicate that one of the potential items that can be found in a search spot has been placed on one of those 3 spots you mentioned. Those would be Erdrick's Sword, Erdrick's Armor, Erdrick's Tokens, the Silver Harp, the Stones, the Fairy Flute, and the Death Necklace, but of course we've already found 2 of those things. The token was in Tangential Treasury, Harp here in Mountain Cave. DK is on his way to last chest right now, and that's gold.
Surprise, more gold.
Seen a lot of gold so far in the seed.
Alright, I think I'm going to probably die here. Walk back and forth here looking for juicy targets to hit the hurt more. Or get squished by a werewolf. Both are viable options.
Yep, werewolf can be one-shot here if he rolls high enough and the werewolf rolled low enough. And in fact, DK rolled his max hurt more roll, but the werewolf said, nah, I've got more HP than that. Killed him anyway.
The game shoots glimpse of its programming data and says, I can't carry all these chests! And Thilo's now getting lots and lots of gold for it. So level 7, both bracers. DK with a minuscule experience point lead now, but has knowledge of, has the harp and homework done in Mountain Cave.
But just takes out that Magidrake, you will get level 8, which is 4102. Ugh. Resources and agility for level 8, kinda ugly here.
Agility is a big problem, because being ambushed, like, you can kill an Axe Knight, but if it gets the first advantage, you're relying on a coin flip at that point. Green Dragon you can probably kill, but again, same
Yes.
problem.
For example, the Hurtmore here, the Green Dragon does have some resist, and it does nothing. The Hurtmore does nothing.
Yeah, dragons are never a freebie. They always have a little bit of soak chance. Greens unknowingly so, blues, coin flip, reds they don't care about magic.
Yes, reds have no use for your Hurtmores. But the Green Dragon, even if you land the Hurtmore, so they've got I think 3 out of 16 resist. Even if you land the Hurtmore, it's not guaranteed to kill it because they too have HP in that werewolf range where they can roll higher than 65. So sometimes you can land that Hurtmore, land a max Hurtmore, and still not kill it. But DK has seen this cave, and it looks like Wyvern's in the zone too. I think you just basically keep forcing exploration at this point. A lot of the high encounter tiles are in these areas with some dangerous enemies, but Star Wyvern's not bad either, as long as it doesn't back attack you. You can always follow this with a hurt, and DK does. I think that's a very appropriate strategy here.
You have a little hurt. It's always like, hurt more kind of overshadows the small hurt very powerfully. But small hurt has its uses. Certainly small enemies get the one shot. Finishing the job if you're low strength against like an Axe Knight you hit with a hurt more and survived. Having the same hit range basically is very important.
Yeah, exactly. So against those, say, werewolves and star wyverns, that's a really useful strategy to conserve some MP. DK is in Tablet Cave. We'll get a torch, which he does not need because our runners have permanent torch on. So that was probably about a 45-minute walk for not much of anything. Or 45-second walk. 45 minutes would be very long.
What's your Urge's Mausoleum?
We're taking the museum tour of the Tablet Cave today, I guess. You can get one of those boxes with the earphones. On your left is Erdrick's Spoon. DK does get a one-shot kill on that green dragon and is rapidly approaching level 9, which shows up at 975 experience points. Thilo's going to head west instead and check across this bridge.
Yeah, if you're... Well, let's see. Oh, another cave.
Oh, there's another cave, so yeah, we've got a fork here. This dead ends, but there is a cave here. We've only got a couple possibilities left. One of them is the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which has one free chest, which is a magic key.
That would have been game-breaking about 20 minutes ago. and you'll see it, walking running west into the very back of Alfgard National Park and finding a key laying on the ground. Could end some seeds quickly, but not this one.
That Druin Lord has breath, but just weak breath. It's still going to take out about half of their HP pool at this point, but one Hurtmore will always dust those. See if Thilo manages to get this green dragon. DK is on the same route now, so he's going to find Stone's Cave over here, provided he survives. Which is perhaps questionable right this second.
Thilo offers green dragon second hurt and decides to get paid off. So, there's lead. Star ambush. Ooh, is that big breath from the Star Wyvern? Or was that something else?
I think that was. I'm not. I actually kind of missed.
Damage.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That might have been the hurt more from DK not being enough. That's what it might have been.
That's what it was. Yeah, he low rolled his hurt more and then just got bopped. I think is what happened there.
As we see these stats here, the low agility being bad and the HP still being so low, you were still one shot by any endgame ability. I think you still die to. Yeah, you still have half plate and don't want magic plate, so you still die to hurt more usually. Fire breath kills you instantly, the big breath. So
yeah.
Golem probably one shots you. Red Dragon probably one shots you.
Yes, it's just the HP is so low right now. As you say, the hurt more I think does 30 to 45, so that's about a coin flip that she'll go down to 1 hurt more if an enemy has it. Big breath will always kill you. Here's level 9, I guess. I'm not sure that actually qualifies under the internationally accepted definition of a level.
Well, it's level NEIN. It's not actually level 9. It's
gotcha. Yeah, it's a language problem I see there. Yeah, language 9.
Yes, somewhere in the back of the game's workings is MTI with a snotty mustache, co-borrowing the gears of the game.
Looks like this desert zone around Tablet Cave has got a lot of Charlock enemies in it. That's an Axe Knight that we've seen now too. Tilo's also going to get his, in air quotes, level 9.
His races are visibly scowling. You can't see the webcams now, but just kind of
Yeah, the strength is actually kind of okay for this level. Everything else, especially the agility, is... I'm going to go with abysmal, I think.
Yeah, which means at some point you're going to get a level and get like 20, 40, like 10 hit points and 25 magic points. It's something ridiculous at level 13 or 14.
Yeah. Until that time, our runner's still at significant risk from a lot of the enemies that are around. But Tilo's managed to pick off a couple of big targets here in this zone. Looks like he might just want to stay put, and honestly I wouldn't blame him if he did. I've got the wyverns here mixed in too, so those you can take out. And he figures he's probably going to die to a lot of things anyway, so just melees that one down, saving that last hurt more bullet for something like perhaps a Star Wyvern.
Ooh, these Star Wyverns are tough. A lot of max rolls and not caring.
Yes, they have high rolled their hit points a lot today.
Yeah, big gains there. Tilo's killing real strong monsters. Oh, the golem also hurt more, so maybe not as free as you thought. The stop spell now is really, really nice for a golem.
Yeah, exactly. If you manage to get that stop spell, then the golems, the one thing about the golems is they're lower on the enemy table, so their stop spell cap is much lower. I think it tops out now at their maximum stop spell resist is 6, so it's usually it's usually even lower than that, average of about 3. So you can land stop spell often with good regularity against a golem, so if you get hold of that spell, then those can just turn into, lumps of rock, which I guess is what they are.
Yeah, just, very tripping chance. Fight the monster, like, here's a chance to do nothing, or do 50 damage to me. I like these odds.
Seems good.
It's like Bomb Crag, but less goofy looking.
What a goofy looking enemy, the Bomb Crag. We'll just take a second on that.
I mean, laugh all you want to. If you're taking time to look at it and laugh at it, you're too close to it.
Yeah, you need to be much further away. It should just look like a dot. If you can actually make out its face, you're much too close to the Bomb Crag. Please do not go close to the Bomb Crag.
Alright, so Tilo now back around Rubaldar. You strike east.
Yeah, so there's basically a southerly route, it looked like, and then perhaps a northerly route along north of Tablet Cave across a bridge. This is a lot of swamp, which is not great, because one thing our runners do not have on level 9 is any healing apart from herbs. So normally you might try to force your way across some of these swamps just to make sure you're not missing anything. In this case, difficult to do that because the only herb shop available is at Breckenary. It's kind of a pain to walk to. DK is going to make the trip right now, though, which I think is still sensible in this case. In fact, probably the best option. You can't just walk around without healing all the time. You're not going to make much progress that way.
Yeah, that was Dad sent a hero to the swamp. I did it all the same. Second to the swamp. Send another hero to the swamp. He 2 seconds to the swamp. Or see that until we get actual healing spells. Or maybe the armor somewhere, but right now the swamps are a problem. Especially only 40? No, yeah, about 40 HP. So yeah, you have 19 steps in the swamp before you die just of natural causes.
It's interesting here. Thilo, it looks like he's just trying to get this next level. It's level 10's at 1500 experience, of course, and wanted to try to, take something out without getting back attacked. Has had bad luck against those Star Wyverns, and actually just tried to up to run there after getting back attacked. DK does take out this Green Dragon in 1 hurt more, and is going to try this bridge that I mentioned earlier, just across from Tablet Cave. I think this is the only route left to explore other than Second Continent. So if there's nothing here, I think First Continent is clear.
Alright, let's see here. He finds another Scorpion outside. Very good. Thilo back to the, oddly enough, back to the little small tile outside the town, just trying to get that quick little level boost.
Yeah, we'll see if this one is more of a level than level 9, which we will not speak of. 7 power, that's fine. 7 speed, that's fine. 10 hit points, that's pretty good. 22 magic. I'd say that's a much better level than level 9.
Worked out pretty good, and sleep, so occasionally handy.
Well, interestingly enough, this has opened up for DK. It went across one of those patches of swamp and has made his way into an area with a couple of branching paths, it looks like, but he's going to stay close to the north coast here and head eastward. This Rogue Scorpion will give him level 10 as well, so experience still very close. And of course, in a Hurtmore seed, any lead is fungible and liable to swing back and forth as the players encounter different enemies. And we've got another town over here on DK's screen.
Right on the north side here, we're on the edge of the map. You can see the coastline uninterrupted. So very good odds is the north side of the map.
And once more, Thilo's opted to go the opposite direction. He's chosen the West Fork again. We'll head this way, see if he finds something over here, but DK has found that town is Hawksness.
Yes, on the town scale, there's Brickenary at the very bottom and Hawksness at the very top. They're both not actually towns.
Hawksness used to be a town, in fairness.
Yeah, Hawksness tried being a town, and Brickenary just failed at it.
Brickenary didn't make it as a town, but decided to keep on going anyway.
Ooh, good find, Axe Knight.
There we go. So an Axe Knight, we've seen these in the desert already. I don't believe we've seen any abilities out of them, so this should be a kill for DK, and he'll be able to check this search spot, and we know there's at least 2 occupied search spots, so likely to be something here. It is Erdrick's sword.
Big stick cashed in. Probably really wanted the armor, but we had the big stick.
Yeah, of all things you could find there, of course you want the sword. That's not going to help our racers very much at the moment. There's nothing you can fight with a sword on 48 hit points that you couldn't just fight with Hurtmore anyway.
I mean,
so
Demon Knight.
Well, okay, yeah, okay, I could see it. That's fair. I'm not sure I'd fight it right now with no healing, but
It's a silver line in that dark silhouette. Yeah, big sword. So we know it's not in Charlock, so problem solved there. You see the AP boost, significant. Not as wild as usually. Usually you don't find it for into the game. You have like a broadsword or a hand axe. It's a huge jump. Yeah, flame sword already, so it wasn't a huge boost of power.
Thilo's going to check that single tile across the bridge just in case. But DK is in Cantlin, so Thilo went west. There was nothing that direction. He's going to have to head east across this swamp now to head to the same region DK is in, and DK's found Hawksness and now Cantlin, so he'll have access to another search spot shortly via the coordinates in this town, but has to load up on herbs first because those barrier tiles are a problem, although he actually just walked out. Maybe he's going to skip it for now.
Repel. Yeah, thinks perhaps that's not worth the time to... Oh, well, maybe it's town. It's not town here, so we have Hawks again.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're going to go grind some Axe Knights. He wants some more resources, perhaps some heal spells, and they're certainly within range, even on one pool of MP right now, to pick up a couple of levels very quickly and improve their fortunes.
Alright, we see a big boost here in experience points. The dedicate grind. Oh, Hurtmore. Hello, Axe Knight. How are we doing today?
Well, fortunately, that level 10 put them out of range of a single shot Hurtmore kill as long as they're topped off.
Level 11. Heal. Stop spell. Return. Those aren't dog commands. Those are actual spells. So Tilo has the lead now, experience points-wise, very briefly, and DK's dedicated grind will now pay off.
Yeah, those stats were 8, 6, 7, 3. If you didn't catch those, the first spin on Tilo's side. Tilo's going to take a death here in the swamp, so we'll have to head back this direction. DK gets back attacked, so he's got about a 60% chance that this hurt more offs the Axe Knight, or else he's going home too. And didn't quite get there.
DK has the knowledge now. We'll probably go right back to that spot and get the grind going again. Or maybe we'll, this hospital now, we'll, you know, perhaps go downstairs and play Golem Chicken, but we'll find out.
Yeah, looks like both racers are heading back that direction. Tilo still has to find those 2 locations over there, but it looks like he's actually going to take this south route instead. Perhaps he did not finish exploring this direction, or maybe there's some other grind that he saw over here that he thought might be favorable.
Very possible.
Ah, no, he had not quite dead-ended that peninsula yet.
Remember, one, it's very important to finish your mapping because it's, you can miss, 3 tiles at the end of a continent or peninsula, and there's your, jerk cave or something that's important to you. So you gotta make sure you're not missing any little spots on the map.
Yeah, especially close to home. If you miss something close to home, that can be very damaging. And that's just around the corner from this body of water from start. So now we're seeing the same divergence that we saw earlier. We had that situation where Tilo took the west route, DK went east, and then they flip-flopped, and now we're getting the same thing. DK is going to head west here, and Tilo knows that the only place he has left on First Continent is to head east after he crosses this bridge.
So quickly find past the swamp, now with heal, so it's a much safer travel for Tilo than it was for DK before.
Yes, no longer just subsisting on herbs, but has that heal spell too. 32 agility now, which doesn't seem like a big difference compared to where we were in the high teens earlier, but it's actually fairly substantive when it comes to not getting back attacked and being able to run away from some things if you need to.
Actually twice as much, though. Ready. You can get the end of the west side now. And then we'll probably ponder, do I go back to Swamp Cave and check back on it? Because we're still missing Cole, we're still missing Garen's Grave. Jerk's out there somewhere. And also Charlock. I've not found my 8x8 square of concrete castle blocks. So, a lot out there still.
Yeah, and I think I think we still need the staff trade in as well, correct?
Yeah, we've basically found none of the homework stuff. We found some homework.
Yeah. Tilo, having done that gold grind out of Garenham, did not set foot outside, and as a consequence did not see Mountain Cave. So that's also some exploration that DK has done, and he's got the harp, so if he runs into the staff trade-in cave, he can trade that right away. If Tilo runs into it, he's not going to have that quest item at his disposal yet. So possibly could be, through no fault of his own really, a bit of a routing clunk later in the seed, but we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for DK's last race, silver shields were not to be found anywhere. Gold all over the place, no silver shields. This race, every town's got silver shields. It's like we're in Nevada. Just silver all over the place. Tilo finds Hawk's Nest, says, "Blah." It goes east and south. Oh, never mind. There's the end of the map, so now we're going south.
So very short of resources, Tilo is going to be very pleased to see Cantlin.
Walk to the end. She's the price sign, thinks, maybe I'll buy some herbs.
If he plans to check the coordinates here, DK just faded the coordinates when he was in Cantlin earlier. Perhaps just deciding that they maybe weren't worth it until he saw what was on Hawksness. Tilo here is going to heal up.
Yeah, DK saw the axe at first, said, "Oh, forget the thing on the ground. Let's get some strength points. Let's find some stuff. Let's get some. Let's get above 40 HP. Let's try and not die to a random back attack."
Speaking of, I think this Rogue Scorpion is going to leave DK just short of level 12. Only needs really one encounter of basically any kind. Gets back attacked by this Wraith Knight though and has only one hurt more left, so it has to hope it lands. If it does, it'll kill it. If it doesn't, it won't, obviously. But here's level 12 for DK.
10, 7, 7, and 7.
Jackpot.
Also, 15 north, 14 west.
Seems countable.
The princess in the cave, so they felt a dagger through her heart. As
Yeah.
just nope.
Gwaelin just felt her blood run cold. I don't think anyone's coming to save me today.
Golem's like, there, princess. Someone will be here eventually.
Just sit around and chat about books. Gollum and Princess Gwaelin. I'll write a nice story about it.
I gotta get a funny webcomic. Just like the guy guarding the princess, be there for years and years waiting for the fabled hero.
Yeah, and it just never shows up. Turns out the world's been saved and everything. They don't know about it. They don't get the newspapers. It's yeah, so they just stay there. Develop a nice friendship.
Alright, to the backlogs this with a full battery. DK also sees stats and says, oh, guess I'll go check it out.
Thilo is going to end up in the same boat here as DK just did, takes out a rogue scorpion and finds himself less than 10 experience away from the level. That magician would have done it, but it ran away very spitefully.
The magician saw the numbers and said, nah, I'll see this movie. I'm getting out of here.
Alright, Thilo will pick up this, 10 and trip 7s. Agility has crept its way into the passable category, but is still relatively low for level 2 and level 12.
As you mentioned that, you get ambushed.
Oh, Axe Knight has Stop Spell. I'm not sure that we'd seen that yet.
No. So the Axe Knights and Ghosts are behind their powers. No, it's their. Fortunately, they're at the very end of a enemy arc and like, I have Stop Spell. No, that's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
Now, this case actually could be dangerous. If they do have to leave on Stop Spell, you lose one more. You're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, you basically have to run from the combat at that point. I mean, the attack power is good, but it's not good enough with these hit points to actually chop it down without without using that hurt more. So,
Thilo has the stick. Very good.
has the stick, less MP in the tank, but does have at least a momentary experience point lead again. This has gone back and forth, and as I said earlier, the lead in experience will be very fungible from this point forward. Just going to depend on which random encounters the players get. That will kind of tilt that one way or another at any given point. But DK has got enough in the tank to take out about 6 more Axe Knights on this cycle than Thilo does. So we'll see what happens here. Next level is at 4125, so not very far away. I don't think Thilo will quite get there. Kind of depends on what monsters he sees in the Hawksness zone on his way out if he chooses to refill. But DK should get it.
And there's a small chance. There's a small chance here that racers just grind here until they feel like they have in-game stats.
Yeah, I mean, you have only a couple of locations left to find. You know that you've got at least the coordinates that you can hunt down. So if you just stay here and you get to a point where you basically are more or less unkillable barring bad luck, just shy of go or even potentially right up against go level, I think that seems like a sensible decision in this case, particularly because the overworld's loaded with Charlock monsters, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. And right now we're still 2. Actually softer now to do the golem grind properly. You have Soft Spell, which would be really handy, but one punch you have to heal, so you're kind of stuck there. Yeah,
Strength is pretty good for level 12, and it looks like Thilo's going to give this a test right now, actually.
Let's
the
test my theory.
Stop Spell does miss, but the Golem Stop Spell missed, so we have a counter spell fight in effect, and Golem lands his first.
Yeah, we turn the magic off, and you're still a wee little man carrying a sword, and you're still fighting a house. The house probably still wins.
Yeah, DK picking up level 13 there. That was worth 5 attack power, no agility again, but did pick up 14 hit points, and it looks like 11 magic points.
Oof, that was the worst case scenario. I accidentally ambushed this last spell.
Yes, you do not want that.
Watch the square. Where did the Axe Knight go? There's just a shadow coming behind you.
Alright, Tilo takes this one out in one shot. We'll get his level 13 as well. So, again, until somebody hits grind and go, probably not even worth paying attention to the experience differential right now.
Yeah. I just hide in a pile of other dead axe knights just wait for them to walk past me. And just lash out the axe and then get close.
Yeah. DK looks like he's intent on taking another cycle. He's headed north. Does see this golem. He does not decide to try his luck with the stop spell, so...
Yeah, so the golem has a lower max resistance, but it's max 6, and it's still not exactly a coin flip, but it's still scary to... And stop spell seems to be common for the golems. Right now, while you don't have the Urge's armor, you can't ignore stop spell. It's actually a very scary problem to have.
It really is, and both of them are in a spot right now where they do have a good known grind. So losing position right here would mean you have to walk all the way back to this area. So I think it's probably a good idea to, if you don't land that first stop spell against the golem, maybe just run away. You can, in 39 agility, you can get away from them pretty regularly. So it's maybe not especially dangerous, but still, you don't want to take the risk that you lose your spot right here and when you have this Axe Knight grind on lock.
The chat also mentioning the heal more not being there also is a problem. The golem decides, how about I just punch you? You're
right,
scrabbling to survive.
Exactly. There's no way to heal out of that situation. If the golem just, shows up and says, I'm going to swing a couple times, then you're toast.
Repel. A clear walk back to the castle. Back to town here.
Probably wisely deciding to keep some MP in the tank there just in case he ran into something hazardous on his way back to Cantlin.
Tilo stops, so Tilo's now down 300 experience points. Probably down 400 by the time this fight's over. And we're going out, so Tilo's going to explore some more.
Yeah, remember, Tilo's got one more location outstanding that he doesn't know where it is. He hasn't seen Mountain Cave yet, so he's got, in his mind, a little bit more exploration to do. And we'll take care of some of that here on First Continent. Assuming that, we've seen nothing of Second yet, so for all we know, this is a single continent map that we just haven't wound back around to Garanam yet.
Very possible. And both races need Garen's Grave, and the Jerk, and the Trading Cave, and Charlock. So there's a lot to be found out there.
Yeah, definitely a lot to find.
The good story is that level 13 we're approaching 120 AP, so we're getting close to Dragon Lord fighting stats. So, endgame shouldn't be a problem for the racers. We're not having that problem.
Yeah, that doesn't really look like an issue. You'd like to see some more agility pop up here before go time, but the strength is perfectly fine, if not even a little bit above average, perhaps, for level 13.
Yep, and the Silver Shield kind of counters the low agility to an extent, so you're not taking big punches from the Dragon Lord. Though getting to the Dragon Lord with the low agility can be a problem.
Tilo basically sticking to this east coast and does find a town. There we go.
It's cool.
Yep. I'll take a quick look just to make sure he's not missing anything else, but we do know this is Cole. Have the search spot here.
There's a wild path too. It's south and east and all around.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the armor. Very big find for Tilo right here. Picks up Erdrick's armor. Among other things, you love the heal walking. You love the swamp immunity. There's a lot of swamp in this seed. And that'll give them stop spell immunity too. DK picking up level 14. That's 1165 and outside.
Tilo's all blinged out. Best sword, best armor, best shield. The only thing to look for now is homework. Run and go.
Yeah, and he's in a spot right now. 69 defense power means that he's repelling a lot of stuff that he just doesn't care about. And in fact, that's a really interesting case what just happened on Tilo's screen. Because he has 69 defense, you would expect him to be repelling that Wraith Knight there, but the new defense power doesn't kick in for repel until after you either take a combat or until you check your stats screen. So that Wraith Knight just sneaked through at the end there. And here he is going to take a look at this Golem because I think he's dead-ended this part of the search.
Now see the danger here with Golem side. I don't have to punch it twice. Like,
Yep.
Tilo knows Golem has 2 spells and they don't do much. And it's like, yeah, that's great. How about I just slap you in the face with my giant brick hands?
Yeah, the giant brick hands, you don't want to forget about those, of course. But this was a good fight to take, and he tested it out, gets the 350 experience for it. And...
to get my full plate. No, we know it's kind of silly, but for now, DK has not seen the winding path to Cole. There we go. Heading back to the area. Tilo may grind some more of that spot with the still pretty full tank. We guess return. We'll find out. Because we do know the map. Let's see. Stones could be on the overworld map. That's very possible. Just walk back here. We heal slowly as he goes. Armor also helping. Obviously, you heal step for step with armor, so you heal much faster. So your MP tank goes way longer than you have to do otherwise. It appears DK is now heading down right past where Tilo is now. We'll probably find Cole in a few minutes. So that armor may soon be in Tilo's back pocket, or DK's back pocket as well.
Yeah, I think DK, actually we're seeing them just about high 5 right here, based on where they are on the map. DK is headed further south though. Tilo's already seen this region, I think. So if DK continues this direction, he should end up in Cole pretty shortly.
Yes, the Swords of Hawk's Nest. Silver Harp's in the second chest of Mountain Cave, if I recall correctly. Fire Ring's down there as well. I've not seen stones. The token was in the treasury.
So there we go, DK finding Cole. He'll pick up his armor momentarily. Our racers will be on essentially even footing. Only thing that is separating them right at the moment is DK has seen Mountain Cave, which is just outside Garenham on Second Continent. Swamp Cave connecting Tanagel to Garenham. But we've got a cave here for Tilo.
Hello, Random Cave.
Yeah, this sort of bridge-filled area to the northwest of Cole. And yeah, finds the Staff of Rain Trading Cave. So not having seen Mountain Cave, Tilo does not have the harp yet. If DK gets over here, he'll be able to trade his harp right away, and that will be a pretty big advantage because this is a long walk from start.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird path to get here. And Tilo has to do it again to get back to cashing this harp later on. Yeah, it's definitely not straightforward. That's a big feather in DK's cap to have that. If he happens to wander around here and finds this twisty path, just get it done and walk away.
Yeah, DK is going to take on this golem now too. He knew about the stop spell pretty early in the seed. Gets a hurt more there, unfortunately, and is in a spot where he's got 30 hit points and has to heal. 68 defense will not help against the big stone fists. So he's just going to go for stop spell here. Does land it, but the golem swings, so DK's not going to get to trade his harp on this trip. All right, then. I don't...
Big brain play on the golem.
Yeah. The golem just, yeah, it's tough when you don't have heal more. It does put you at some risk. I think probably a reasonable decision in his mind, and I think overall a reasonable decision to test that out there just to see what he was dealing with. But he's going to count out the coordinates now. There's a couple of things out there, one of which he, being DK, really does not want to see. That's the Fairy Flute. Also got the Death Necklace and the Stones of Sunlight as possibilities. And he'll search the tile and find the Death Necklace.
Tilo right behind.
Yep.
Even our HP is probably not going to be a factor in this race, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We still have a ways to go. Strength could still slam on the brakes here. We could get a couple big chunks of HP. The Death Necklace, of course, in Randomizer. There's a flag that is on in this flag set that when you equip the Death Necklace, you're cursed, but you get plus 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points. So that's not something that we're really looking at right now. DK does have level 14. It's 1 strength, 1 agility, 6 hit points and 5 magic points.
Still heading back to the castle. Probably going down the Swamp Cave now. Tilo has pretty thoroughly explored the entire first continent, so whatever's left to be found is probably going to be beyond the cave.
Yeah, I think he's dead-ended everything on First Continent, which is something DK has not done yet. So we'll see how this comes out in the wash, as both of them have to explore separately here. We know there's at least... we've got to find the Stones of Sunlight, and all of the single chests, I think, have been checked, so that would leave the stones in Grave, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably Grave. I think we're out of spots to go besides that.
Yeah, we've seen Stones of Sunlight Cave, we've seen Tablet, we've seen the Remolder chest. So there's no more of those single checks left out there. Now, Tilo has cast Repel. He's headed through Swamp Cave, so he's going to Second Continent. He'll have level 14 if he takes out this Demon Knight.
There goes.
And there it goes. Although you couldn't tell, because it's very dark in there.
They're trying to repel, like, against the wall, I pushed it and just walked into it. It's like, this is your fault, man. Outside.
And DK does explore across those bridges, manages to find his way to the Staff of Rain Trading Cave. He's actually picked up outside Tilo has on level 14, so he's just going to cast that to get through here and make his way into Mountain.
Alright, DK is catching the harp for a good time gain on Tilo, who will probably find the harp in this dive and realize, ah, crap, I gotta walk my way back around the entire continent again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a quirk of the way the routing's going to work out for both of them this seed. Tilo, through no fault of his own, kind of wrong-ordered that. Just found that Staff Trade-In Cave before he found his harp.
Don't blame something, blame the Spectre. Poltergeist still worse, but blame the Spectre.
Yeah, in this case, we blame the Spectre.
Okay, we're an hour into the race, basically, so race had a very weak opening, literally, just no strength and no magic. So a little flopping around for the first 10 minutes to get the fights going. DK the early gold grind and early key cash-in, find Remodar really fast. Tilo dedicated to the grind early. Both races kind of met in the middle there, and going back and forth a bit. You can go left, one goes right, vice versa. Armor, 10 minutes, like 5 minutes apart each. Very much same concepts, just different order. This is the big difference here, is Tilo finding the Mountain Cave just now, versus DK having it like 20 minutes into the race.
Yeah, Mountain Cave sitting right outside of Garenham. Garenham linked to Tanagel via Swamp Cave, and the runners actually started with keys, had Wings start. So they had keys right away. There were 2 towns that ended up being quite close, Remolder and Breckenary. Neither of those were especially useful to open. But there was a torch in the treasury, and as the Seawolf said, that gold grind via either Mountain Cave or the Swamp Tunnel. If you take a death in there after getting Garenham chest, so both runners took advantage of that gold grind, got Silver Shield pretty early, ended up getting Flame Sword. Erdrick's Sword was in Hawksness, the armor was in Coal, and now we're doing some exploration on Second Continent. And I think we know that Grave has to be over here somewhere. I think we've seen basically everything on First. Yeah.
Yes, as Taz mentioning, I wouldn't call it a mistake for Tilo to get the Swamp Cave and get through the thing there. So it was just a Spectre that DK walked through scot-free and Tilo got killed. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
What you see is what you get sometimes. Hey,
Ooh, there we go. There's our distinctive block retaining wall around the Charlock moat.
It looks like playing Rampart. Just thinks, no. Get a castle, get a moat, get blocks around. Classic fitting. So someone just winding past the cave down there.
Yeah, Tilo just missed that cave off screen, perhaps. He might have just been checking to see if there was another route the other direction before heading this way. But does find it, and it is Grave.
It's a Grave.
So Tilo, in all likelihood, will be first to the Stones of Sunlight. Will it be top 3, or do we have to dive deeper?
Unfortunately, it is empty. Unfortunately, it's empty. Fortunately, it's the Stones of Sunlight. We out of here. Listen to that flute.
I think probably okay.
Dost thou want the flute?
No flute.
2 chests down there is not fun. If you want flute really bad, treasuries in the castle. You got 6 chests there, so diving 2 minutes for a flute seems a little silly.
Yeah.
You're gonna grind Axe Knights, or in Tilo's case, might just grind as you walk.
Meanwhile, DK's been feasting on these random golems as he's explored the southeast of First Continent and has jumped up to level 15, which brings 12, 4, 1, 4, and the spell of Heal More.
Heal More! Now golems are very tasty.
The golems are very tasty. And DK has dead-ended First Continent, so he's going to cast Return, head straight back to Tanagel, make his way through Swamp Cave as well.
Yeah, if I'm Tilo, I try to find my answers. I find the Jerk Cave. I find... Yeah, I guess the Jerk Cave's all left. Find that jerk, figure out where you're going. So you just do all in one swoop. Like, right here, for instance.
Like, perhaps, right here, for instance. And I think this is the last cave that we haven't seen. So this is definitely the Jerk Cave. Unfortunately, Tilo ended up, like I said, through no fault of his own, kind of wrong ordering the staff pickup and everything. So he's going to return straight out of here after confirming that is the Jerk. And is going to head back to trade in his staff. And this looks pretty severe at the moment, but depending on how DK's exploration goes on Second Continent, remember we've got that Golem spike tile in the basement in Swamp Cave. So, 1,400 experience point gap is reasonably substantial, but Tilo knows right where Staff Cave is. He can trade that and return immediately and start grinding. And it looks like actually DK, before he even bothers doing the rest of the exploration, is going to go take on this Golem a little bit.
Get the grind on. Well, down the second continent. You come to my Jerk Cave, kill my Jerk bird outside my Jerk Cave, then teleport out my front door. Crass heroes nowadays.
Just no respect, I'm telling you.
No respect. Golem is trying to cast out spell to no effect. DK's every chunks of it. The armor and the sword being big boost here. Hurt more being dulled, and 120 attack power. Golems have a high HP. They don't have a super high defense, so they're HP heavy. So are the Stonemen. Much like the Scorpions are vice versa, where they have low HP and very high agility comparatively. The Stonemen and Golems, you can hit them hard and they'll take a lot of damage. But they have a lot of HP to soak for it.
Yeah, DK had been using the stop spell strats earlier, but now with Heal More and 128 attack power, these golems are getting absolutely walloped. He's not even bothering with that. He's just straight up swinging away. He's doing almost capping out at, I think, 49 damage right now. And the golems have 153 max hit points, but they can roll as low as 115. So you can plow through these really quickly. There's a very favorable grind right now for DK. And you know what's interesting about this? I guess DK also has dead-ended First Continent, right? So in terms of the routing, he knows that Garenham's on Second Continent, he knows that Jerk Cave has to be on Second Continent, and he knows the Stones have to be on Second Continent. So if he finishes his grind here in his go mode, he basically goes across, finds all the stuff, goes into Charlock, because everything else is on Second Continent.
Yeah, by dint of that Spectre killing Tilo has warped this whole race's routing. And Tilo's level 3 in a Swamp Cave against a Class 3 Ghost Monster. Death was very much likely.
Yeah, and there were plenty of other things in Swamp Cave that might have done that too. We knew we found out later there were Demon Knights down there, among other things, so any number of things might have sent them back at that point. Tilo is going to cast Repel. Interestingly enough, I thought maybe he'd return immediately, but he apparently has his sights set on something else, maybe deciding to go to Hawksness until he gets Heal More. I think perhaps would be a good play. So that might be on his mind too.
Excellent move, just crit. Take 90. Still 44 agility, so the dreaded Golem ambush was in play.
Yeah, no kidding. The agility, we haven't mentioned it in a couple levels now, but it has, partly because there hasn't been much of it in the last couple levels. So still at 44 on level 15, not amazing. We'll see if there's a big gain here. It looks like this swing will probably do it for DK. It does. Here comes 16.
Alright, so big stat gains there. HP still south of the number you want, so no reason to stop.
Yeah, and for that matter, It's very fringe right now, even if the HP... I mean, the HP is, I guess, technically good enough, but between the defense and everything else, it would require a monumental dive and then basically a super clean DL1 fight to have any chance at this stage. And that itself would be very low percentage, so... DK, though, I guess, has decided to tap out here. He's going to go across to Garenham, get the rest of his exploration done. In the meantime, Tilo is about 4 Axe Knights away from picking up Healmore. He doesn't know that, of course, but we do.
DK is strong enough where you just level up. You probably come back to Garenham anyway to fill a tank after you do your searching. So between walking into Garen's grave, walking to the Jerk, walking outside there, finding all this stuff, DK probably figures I can get my level, on the move.
Yeah, DK's go adjacent. He can fight basically anything he wants to fight on his way, doing his exploration here to find the stones and then the Rainbow Drop Cave as well as Charlock. So just going to take whatever fights come his way as he explores here. The next level, level 17, is at 12,000 experience points flat. So he's not very far away, only about 1,500 required for DK to get to 17, which is plausibly go level.
I didn't mention we haven't seen so far. Blue dragons, red dragons have not shown up at the party yet, so if they're in Charlock and they have something nasty, that could still be a problem. We're totally unaware.
Yeah, haven't seen any of them the entire seed. Haven't seen wizards either. Those are usually of less consequence, but you never know. They can show up with sleep and something dangerous. And if your hit points remain kind of fringe here, say the 100 hit points or so on your dive level, that can still be a concern on 50 agility, so something to look out for there too.
DK repelled and is now just realizing, oh, yeah, I'm a big scary man in shining legendary armor. Not much wants to fight me right now.
Yeah, they're not quite... The agility is still low enough that they're not quite repelling everything that is not a Charlock monster, but it's pretty close.
DK has fries that was... that's smiling, and the seagull came up from the coastline, ambushed him for his fries. Slow sign by me.
Interestingly enough, both racers kind of did the opposite of what they'd been doing earlier in the seed. DK went west first that time, and Tilo went east first on Second Continent, and as a consequence, Tilo found all the stuff in pretty short order, and DK's kind of wrapped around a bunch of nothing, and is going to have to head back across a couple bridges to make his way across to that cave.
Jerkbird's got his number, because every time a Jerkbird shows up, he gets an ambush. Just keeps on being annoying.
Tilo taking an intentional death there. He did pick up level 15, so he's got his Healmore spell now. I suspect that a Golem grind is in his immediate future, and he is going to make his way towards Swamp Cave. Tilo still has a little bit of homework left, but remember, he's already seen all the locations on Second Continent, so he knows where everything is. DK's still got to find the grave to get his stones. He's still got to find the Rainbow Drop Cave. He has found a Charlock now, at least, which I believe is on the way to all of the other locations, correct?
On the way there, then Garen's grave just passed, and the Jerk had that. Never know, Tilo can find some weird thing happen to DK. Tilo may get like 4 or 5 crits in a row. We'll get the time back. We'll find out how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, these golems are going to go very quickly, ultimately. We've seen him plow through one already without any damage. It's going to be a fairly frequent occurrence. On 128 attack power, like I said, their damage range is 24 to 49 here. So with golem hit points where they usually are, you're going to average about 4 to 4.5 swings per golem fight. And if they just decide to cast Stop Spell and even hurt more, really, then you're not expecting to heal during the fight. And in fact, Tilo is just going to go back into the fight with 45 hit points. He's confident enough that he can just make headway here. And 72 defense also means that the golem's hitting for a max of, I think, 42, perhaps 43. So you kind of gauge that out too. And the thing about golems is they have no evasion. So you can swing fairly confidently if you count your hit points damage done in the fight.
Yeah, golems count as a boss monster. They're typically a one-shot monster outside Caitlin, like a guardian for the town. So they basically have only boss settings. It's hard to describe. DL1, DL2, and golem can't dodge.
Yeah, so you can play the golem fight kind of like the DL2 fight, as long as you're counting your damage and you know the next swing will kill it. And you know both these racers are heads up enough to know what their damage range is against these kinds of monsters, at least in rough terms, if not to the particulars. So Tilo just choosing to swing away here, for instance, on 45 hit points because he knows he can't actually be killed on the next swing.
And I'm so sorry on the Saturday to bring math to your viewing stream here, but
yeah, especially on a Saturday, it just feels kind of wrong, but you know, the weekend.
Alrighty, there's a crit. Speaking of which.
Alright, Tilo up to level 16. DK has made his trades, and of course he's seen Charlock as was required. Had to walk past it to get to all that stuff. And he's going to head into Swamp Cave with about, let's see, about a 1,300 experience point lead, maybe a little bit less than that by the time he gets to the tile. I don't think either racer will have to heal again before they hit go mode, but who knows? The stats could really grind to a halt here.
The main difference is Chilo's walk past Charlock to cash in the items, then probably heal again and go back to Charlock, so DK has basically one less stop to make on the way to the end of the game.
Right, so probably a couple of minutes worth of lead for DK right now, at minimum. And we see them in the golem fight simultaneously. It's about 1,100 point experience gap. DK only needs 2 more in order to get to level 17.
That being said, our agility is trash, and we've not seen dragons yet. So Charlock can be a house of horrors. We'll find out. Yeah, Brian, no blue dragon, no red dragon. The gods are kind, maybe it'll be nice smooth walk for Charlock. If Math Girl is more than seed, and she is, that's probably not going to happen. DK decides, I want more magic. So DK choosing to go to 18, wants more MP. Agility also being low. If Tilo feels behind, Tilo may run at 17 to try and make it work. We'll see how that goes. I'm with Beta in chat. 18 is the right play in my mind. Just for the MP is a big deal. Dragon hits really hard, and with our agility so low, we're not going to be taking soft shots. Tilo may gamble on that, basically on the fact that if I feel I'm behind, if I know I walked twice to the long, windy harp trading cave, perhaps I'm just routing behind.
Sorry about that, had to step away for a moment. Looks like we got level 17.
17, and we're still grinding. DK wants either more agility or more MP.
I wouldn't blame him. So 134, it looks like it's about 12 and not quite 12.5 damage on average against DL2.
It's less the damage I'm doing and more the fact that I'm not getting out of the full tank because agility 57, and anything with a red paint scheme is going to wreck my day.
Yeah, be a big problem. 57 agility still on level 17. So you want either more healing or more agility or more something. And honestly, this grind is so fast and so free. You can stay here. Like I said, I doubt they'll need to heal again before the end of the grind, and that's basically holding true. Tilo's, I think, only burned 2 heal mores in the last 7 or 8 golem fights.
Yeah, the golem, I think, it appears to be 50% soft spell. It's definitely been a factor.
Yeah. Next level is at 14,250, and if you already mentioned that, I apologize.
Nope. I've played the game for many years, and I've still no idea what the level requirements are for experience points.
I've been kind of, whenever I have spare time, futzing around with other seeds lately, so I'm actually, I have to reorient because I've been looking at seeds that have very fast experience and normal experience and different stuff, so that charts are all off in my head right now, but that is 1425. So next Golem will do it for DK. We'll see what level 18 is. Pretty short order.
They hit the golem for 108 on a crit and still didn't kill it in one shot. So golems, as mentioned, high HP pool. They're very tough to kill straight away.
Another crit for DK. That'll get him the level. Don't think that was critical to his defeat of the Golem, but he did it anyway. 2 more power, 5 speed, 6 hit points, 5 magic points. That'll pick up another heal more, and he's gonna outside, yeah. So 62 agility, you don't love that, but obviously the other stats are good enough here. Doing an average of just over 13 damage per swing, which means you should need, on average, exactly 12 hits to kill DL2 on average. And right now he's got 12 heal mores, so that feels pretty good. But of course, as you said, there's still some Charlock monsters we haven't seen. We don't know what the zones are like yet, and on 62 agility, even some of the lower tier Charlock monsters can still give you fits.
Dragon a red, dragon a blue.
Thilo, taking a look at his stats, gets 18 just a few moments after DK does, and it looks like he's gonna fight another Golem, at least.
Yeah, I'm with Brian, actually. I'm thinking I might just kill the red dragon my way if I see it, because I'm not running.
Yeah, absolutely. You, any of the red enemies, so if you see an Armored Knight, you got 136 attack power, that's pretty good. Let me pull out the scientific calculator.
Oh no, this would be one of those NCR things.
Not quite. Let me see. So 136. It's probably like an average of about like a 3 3/4 swing fight against a red dragon, and for that matter, against an Armor Knight, probably about 3.5. So he's gonna fight that one.
Alright, so he's herb, starts walking.
Yeah, resource management's going to be very critical to this dive, especially if there's a lot of run blockers around, and when things like green dragons can just run block you because you've got 62 agility.
But there was a legendary green dragon like 4 years ago I had, where dodged like, I was like 90 agility, I blocked like 8 run chances. Just totally ruined the whole seed. Yeah, green dragons. Some people spike kill magic drakes, I spike kill green dragons.
Yeah. Totally understandable.
I don't think Z's here. I can't talk about the Wraith. We need both of us here to speak of that beast.
Yeah, many tales could be told about that that particular monster. DK into the second floor. Looks like we've got blue dragons here too, which we haven't seen yet, but the first attack from it is a swing, or a bite, or whatever blue dragons do. I'm not sure.
Almost as bad. It doesn't have attack power. If it has heal more, you decide to punch through it. I may not be able to, which is possibly scary. So, the unknown here is terrifying, because you don't know what a monster can do to you right now.
Exactly. And only, let's see, 62 agility, so only about 65% for DK to run on a given blue dragon encounter. Werewolves are good to see, because they're pretty easy to run from comparatively among the enemies in Charlock. But he's going to fight through this Armored Knight here too. See,
right
Tilo has Tilo right behind, so he's into the first floor before DK exits the first basement. So this is definitely still pretty close, and depending on the encounters that both racers get in their respective run luck, could still see some things happen here. They're not... Tilo has a dragon scale, so in theory he's repelling wizards, I guess, for whatever that's worth.
There's a red.
And we've got the red dragon in zone 2.
You see the damage it's putting out. You're standing there and fighting it, but you're going to need to heal. Yeah. Red dragons are a problem.
Red dragons are a pretty serious problem. You see DK actually taking a pretty risky swing there on 33, but he knew what damage he'd done, and then he had a pretty decent shot to kill that one off, and, you know, he's playing for the game. You'll see both runners play the end of the seed. Wow. To the absolute hilt, but he has to run here. He doesn't want to burn another heal more, and he does get away.
Dragon Warriors became hour into the seed now. It's totally becoming a survival horror game.
Yeah, so we've switched genres. I don't know if I need to change anything in the channel settings for that. But
I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
think you can. I can't do it.
I could do it. I'm not going to, but...
Jerk bird, being a jerk.
Alright, so we've got blue dragons, star wyverns, red dragons in zone 2. This blue's going to make a nuisance of itself again. Another run block. DK is now out of herbs.
Out of herbs.
And Tilo is hot on his heels. He's actually made his way around the diamond-shaped floor without an encounter, so he's now into the third basement.
Tilo's hero walking pretty good, and DK is getting ground down by monsters. More reds downstairs.
Yep, zone 3.
Sleep.
Oh, reds have sleep!
This became
Oh, boy.
much worse.
This just became much, much worse. Now DK is taking a long think, and this is entirely appropriate in the situation. He's gonna swing without the stop spell. He doesn't know has no idea what the resist might possibly be, and he's only seen the sleep once after having killed one and had a couple run blocks. So he's just gonna try to get through it, put a sleep on 37 hit points. Any hit could kill him here. And the 40 takes him out. Oh goodness.
Red dragon.
So Tilo now... Tilo's got a red on his screen too. He hasn't had to burn any MP yet, and has still got 4 herbs. He is in the U-shaped floor, so just where DK was when DK died, but a second red dragon, and he's gonna try to take this one out.
Yeah, Tilo's unaware that there's it gets away. Tilo rolling hot in the run chances.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do in Dragon Warrior Randomizer. It's what it comes down to, but still has to traverse this short corridor and the bottom floor. DK, meanwhile, has to make his way all the way back through Swamp Cave, but here we are, final basement for Tilo. Looks like the zone also consists of star wyverns and green dragons, so that's good news. But certainly now we have to think about the spike tile, because a red dragon on the spike, Tilo doesn't know about that sleep yet. And really, any multi-turn sleep could prove lethal, depending on the circumstances. 119 hit points, but only 81 defense. If you get slept for more than 3 turns, you're in jeopardy.
Tilo doing a pretty... Tilo had the bad walk in Swamp Cave before. He's made a great walk to Charlock now.
Yeah, this has been a great final zone. Gets run blocked by a green, of course, because, you know.
Eat the herb. Step forward. A stone man.
Stone man. Like to see that.
Big breath.
Weak breath. Sigh of relief for Tilo, but he will still have to make this short walk from the spike tile to the Dragon Lord.
We think there's no reds on the very bottom. We haven't seen one yet, so I think we're okay. But
because there was a red in the U shape.
Oh, yeah, that was the U. Yeah, so
there are reds on this floor. Just hasn't seen any in the final basement. Has Tilo encounter one step before the Dragon Lord's tile, and it's a jerk bird doing what it does best. Tilo uses his last herb, but on 98 magic points, now that he's gotten to the Dragon Lord fight, the hard part is over, and this becomes the easy part.
Alright, DK fortunately runs to, appears to be a 1 of 5 chance to Red Dragon, randomly 3 of them on the U and the floor before, and just found the stop asleep. And Tilo found 2 Red Dragons and never went to sleep and ran away cleanly.
Yep, and took one of them down too. The DK had the same experience. Basically, he also took out a Red Dragon earlier in Charlock, but didn't see the sleep on that one. First swing for Tilo is a 9. He'll only get 1, but really only, he's plus 3 heal mores here minimum, and should finish the fight with healing. But that opening 9, 13, now 22.
DK gets a huge boost to agility at level 19, 17 agility points. So possibly better. Again, agility running might not be the most reliable stats to bank your run on, but just the sheer luck factor of the Red Dragon.
I think we're on 44 now for Tilo, and Bear's pointing out DK finally picked up a Dragon Scale there now too. So he's at 89 defense, and we'll be repelling up through green dragons in Charlock now.
That's the MP to throw a repel and not lose the heal more.
This looks pretty solid. Rolls have been fine for Tilo.
Take your time. You have 5 more heal mores in the tank. Just take your time, do your inputs. Never, you think you're behind in a race. The worst thing to do is to just fat finger the upper A button too fast and throw a YOLO more out when you don't want to.
Right, exactly. Yell hits for 37 on that melee. follows up with a breath, so he's going to have to heal here. 48, so risky there. Will heal. Very prudent. He does not need the extra swings in all likelihood. Probably taken 1 or 2 more swings here than I would have expected. Does have 1 heal more left. Any swing now could potentially do it. Oh, and he gets a double here. Back-to-back low melees as DK takes the death to an Armor Knight on the top floor. Tried to run away and didn't get there.
Yeah, DK has just been getting stuffed. The run blocks have been terrible. Thilo goes to second last swing and takes down Dragon Lord. So closer than we thought it'd be. Got down the full tank.
Yeah, much closer than I thought it'd be. Got there full tank. Didn't get the opening double, but still was able to take out the Dragon Lord despite possibly some low rolls there. So everybody, please get your GGs out in chat if you haven't already for Thilotilo. He's going to hand dk9146 his first loss of this summer tournament and get within now just needs 3 wins to defend his title. Taking the first race of this best of 3, DK with the immediate forfeit after his experience in Charlock. Cannot say as I would blame him. And we'll see if we can get our runners in to talk to them.
It is a best of 3 series, so DK is not eliminated, not by a long shot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just 1 race in this series. Obviously, you saw very, very high-level play from both racers today. It really just came down to a Charlock that had some unknowns in it. And, and certainly DK capable of winning 2 in a row, even against the defending champion. We saw it in 2020 when DK won the summer tournament. He was actually in the losers bracket fairly early and had to tear off a huge win streak at the end to get to the end of that one and take down the title. So he's certainly more than capable of coming back and winning 2 straight against Thilo. No concerns there.
Alright, so they're watching the credits as usual. This is fine. You hear that? Whatever fancy tune is waiting for you at the end of the credits.
Yeah, Thilo likes to see the end of game stats first. We have this wonderful stat screen that Magoo built in, and so he'll let his original credits run. But in the meantime, we have DK in chat with us. GG. Really well played race, but that Charlock turned very sour very quickly.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, there ain't no use getting upset about it. There's nothing you can do when Red Dragons all of a sudden show up asleep after not seeing them all game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can, you just chalk that up to Dragon Warrior Randomizer, right? I mean, it's going to happen.
Absolutely. How was the rest of the race?
You made the right choices, pretty much. Direction of the shoes, you went the right way first. Thilo was right behind you. You were never really too far ahead. Your lead back and forth experience points was pretty back and forth. You had a gold grind first. You found Mudar before Thilo did. Had the gear first. You bought the armor and the silver shield faster. Basically, you were like an item ahead most of the time. I don't know what the difference was. Thilo didn't find the harp first. Thilo couldn't get to the swamp cave initially. You had a free walk to the swamp cave. Thilo got hit by a specter and killed off really fast. So you kind of faded that for about 4 or 5 levels.
Yeah, that early game sucked. It ramped up enemy-wise from just base enemies up to Charlock enemies with nothing really in between or tainted zones, and low agility will make those always a bad time.
Yeah, any of those mid-game enemies, I think we saw like Wyverns, but those were in a zone with a bunch of Charlock stuff, and then you didn't see like a Wolf Lord or a Wraith or, any of that mid-game hurt more target stuff. Or even when you still had the Flame Sword, just none of that was around to try to fight to scaffold your way up.
Yeah, no magic wyverns, just jerk birds everywhere. The real deal.
And Thilo joining us now too. GG. Great race from both of you.
Thank you.
So as the Seawolf was pointing out, the big divergence in the seed was, I think, a routing one, and part of the reason why DK had a lead going into Charlock. Thilo, you did your gold grind out of Swamp Cave, and so you didn't see Mountain Cave until pretty late in that seed. How were you feeling in the early game, particularly once you started to see, towns, and then you got through Swamp Cave after being sniped that first attempt?
Well, so to start off with, the Rimeldar and Breckenary, seeing both of them, I was like, oh no, and then I was thinking through it, and I was going, this doesn't help in any way, because once you got to level 2, grinding was pretty easy, so I was like, okay, alright, we're good here, but when I saw the swamp, I made a big mistake in checking the spike tile before I went across, because I could always go back in if it was Garenham and get myself killed that way, the way I actually did when I set up the gold grind. So that cost me for a little while because I think I may have done some other stuff after that. I can't remember now, but I felt really behind at that point in time, and that may have helped at some point because I went, well, this probably didn't go well for me, and I may have just relaxed with the rest of the seed. But after that, I thought my exploration went pretty well in terms of finding things. Obviously, going and getting the staff was a nice out-of-the-way adventure, but in terms of finding things, I thought the exploration went pretty well, and the golem was very nice.
Yeah, the exploration actually went pretty well for both of you. I think the big thing at the end that kind of gave DK the edge heading into Charlock was actually the whole deal with the harp and the staff. You did your gold grind out of the back of Garenham, whereas DK had exited and saw Mountain Cave pretty early, and so had his harp within, I think, the first 20 or 25 minutes. So when he got to Staff Cave, he was able to trade his right away, and then you had to double back for it. And that was kind of the thing at the end, because otherwise it was neck and neck basically throughout. You were in each other's footsteps basically the entire seed. It was a great race.
Yeah, in retrospect, I did that was a big mistake on my part, because I think, okay, do the Garenham die and blah blah blah, but I could have gotten those Garenham chests at any point, so checking outside of it would have been the smarter play at first, and I would have been very happy had I done that. But nonetheless, I guess it worked out for me. I have heard from my scouts that red dragons had sleep.
Yeah, and as it turns out, we have the stats up on screen right now, and it ended up being 50% sleep, which is pretty remarkable because both of you fought through at least one of them during the course of your dives and didn't see it until, I think, and DK didn't see it until the second fight, and just kind of had to take a long think about whether he was going to try to stop spell or not. As it turned out, the resist was 8 of 16 too, so that was,
Wow, that's unfortunate. I didn't actually fight through one. I thought about it, I was going to, and then I swung it for 23, and I was like, okay, this is going to cost me heal more if I swing through as well, so I'm going to go ahead and try to run, and I got away. So I think I had one run fail to the red dragon, or sorry, I had a swing. I'm not sure. I think I ran successfully first try from both of them, so I may have only gotten one turn of action from them. I can't remember, but yeah, I had pretty good fortune. I saw the two red dragons back to back, and I'm like, oh no! And then I never saw one the rest of the dive, and I was.
He ran to far fewer. They were only in the bottom area, I think, and
they were zone 2.
they were zone 2, right?
Yeah, they were in zone 2. Yeah.
Oh, I think I had one encounter in zone 2 the entire way.
Yeah, whereas you saw 2 down on the way down, and DK ran like I think 4 or 5 of the last things. So they just came out in droves for DK.
Oh,
yeah,
that's brutal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at minimum you just completely hero locked the diamond-shaped floor, right? Like you didn't get any encounters at all in zone 2, practically.
The diamond-shaped floor and the subsequent floor. I didn't run into a single encounter until the third floor of zone 2, and I think I ran into 2 encounters on that floor. So yeah, I just had obscenely good char luck.
It's kind of weird that we ended up with I think it was at least 3 enemies that we just didn't see. As many Charlock enemies as were in the overworld. We didn't see those red or blue dragons at all until Charlock, so you just had no way of knowing what you were getting into.
Yeah, everything else from Charlock was pretty tame. I guess. I mean, armored knights, I only got like 2 or 3 turns against the whole time, so I don't know if they had anything or not, but yeah, everything else was pretty tame. The golem was nice, the stone man was nice, and then, the other things weren't that important.
The first 2 times I went up by brick, I died to an armor knight. That's just amazing that you only saw 2 or 3 the whole seed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I died multiple times to star wyverns and green dragons who would ambush me, and then I had no way of getting out. But I never saw an armor knight. The only armor knight I ever saw was near the staff cave, and then in Charlock. So, yeah, I guess I was living the dream in this seed.
So anything else in particular from either of you, things that we haven't kind of talked about yet? Like I said, the rest of the race was so close. You were basically back and forth trading. There were even certain points where one of you'd take one fork and the other take the other, and you just then swap afterward. So it was really just back and forth the entire season. It was a great race to watch.
Well, that I have a whole lot of other thoughts. Thank you guys for putting this together. I know it's kind of short notice, given that we kind of jumped the gun in terms of weeks here, but I greatly appreciate it for you guys to pull it together. And yeah, I said going into this tournament, I was telling Urson, I feel like I could beat anybody in this tournament except DK. Even in my bracket predictions, I predicted Bob to upset him because I didn't want to face him in my predictions because I couldn't predict myself to beat him. So escaping with one, I'm very happy with, even if I get swept the rest of the way. Being able to escape one puts me beyond what I thought I could do. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I have to echo what Tilo said. Thanks for getting this all together on short notice. Really appreciate it. Overall, it was a fun seed. Yeah, it's always rough when a seed goes down. I know it's much funner from the chat perspective than it is from the runner perspective when RNG hits hard like that. But it is what it is. And as we said before Tilo got in, this is Dragon Warrior Randomizer in a nutshell. So looking forward to race 2.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's actually it's possible to play that seed much better than you did, DK, and even to the point that the routing stuff worked out for you, but that's going to happen sometimes in Charlock, so you've got 2 more shots to try to advance, and based on your performance today, I'd say, you've got still, even having to win 2, a pretty good chance to move forward. Both of you do for that matter. I both played a great race today.
Well, the good news is we get some Angel Slamu action in between here to cleanse the palate.
Yeah, Angel and Slamu are going to break things up a little bit for us. We've got races on perhaps each of the successive 4 days coming up here. Midnight Eastern tomorrow night, or perhaps beginning of October 3rd if you prefer. Actually, technically 2 races in the same day. Angel versus Slamu on the other side of the bracket. Then around the same time, 11 o'clock Eastern on the 3rd, that will be Monday. And game 2 of this series coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern time on October 4th. So 1 race each day going forward for the next 3 at minimum. If DK picks up the winning game 2, then he'll force a game 3, which will take place on October 5th, the next day, Tuesday, also at 2100. Any final thoughts, anyone?
Not for me, really. Just the race spoke for itself. Just both races found all the things in different order. Came at the end, basically at the same spot, and then just Dragon said, "Dragon things. Mean dragons are mean." That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yep. The name of the game is Dragon Warrior, after all, and sometimes the dragons are the warriors, and it has an alternate meaning. Let's see. I don't know if we have a raid set up, but I, of course, am in a position to do that. So let's send the channel over to Summer Tournament participant Kigalus, who I think is playing some Worlds Collide. So Final Fantasy VI Randomizer. Let me pull up chat so I can actually do that. But thanks everybody for joining us today. Really glad you were here. Hope you enjoyed this one. Like we said, races coming up each of the next 3 days at least. So we hope to see you again soon. In the meantime, take care, everybody. Hope your weekend treats you well.